What you run? Trying to run a kitty litter off your feet? You dig like you're going crazy, bro. What's up, man? You can get your head rubbed. Hi, Papa. Hey, move this. Move shoes. Get him out the way. Hey, what's up, man? Hey. You want to go outside, run up on the cars and stuff. Wait, they're gonna empty you both sides. You can run all around. Not in them bushes, though. Ooh, I got a spot. Oh, I got a spot. I got a spot. You got a spot? I'm still stuffed. And I gotta still make that shake. I gotta eat it. I gotta make it soon because it's be over my time. I'm still stuffed. Wow. I feel good. Stuffed. I think it's the vitamin. What you think? You coming up? You coming up? I'm gonna see if my Glock 19 will fit on that. I never take it out, so let's see what the top will fit on it. Okay. What you think? Let me go ahead and get reading, okay? I don't have allergies, man. God dog, boy. It feels like it. Why you? Why you do that? You're retarded. I don't know where you get that from. You got too much, bro. You hit a window. The window's open. Go jump up in the windowsill. Go jump up in the windowsill. I think I ate too much salmon. Oh man, all too many vegetables. Should have waited. Excuse me. Come on, don't start that gas. Yeah, what's happening? Just waiting for a few more people to come in. I don't want to be on here for long. I just want to read. First, I want to say, for those who live in California, I want y'all to know something you didn't know. And you got to remember that the Black Panthers and certain Lebanese, the LB, what you call it, Lebanese, what you call it, Front, whatever, all those different organizations, NFA was created. And it was strictly created to remove guns from us. Now, I'm not going back to the 19. It happened before that, but a lot of our soldiers had kept the firearms. There was no laws. We created the Constitution. There was nothing they could too much do. But now you get to the 1960s, they took guns from a lot of liberals. Remember, there were still people coming over here getting off the boat. I mean, in great numbers, it's millions. And in California, there is still a law in place, and it's called Stand Your Ground, people. Look it up. There's a Stand Your Ground law in place in California. And then you start to wonder, why are the cops so corrupt? I mean, it's like here in Arizona, down towards Phoenix, you have some of the most crooked, corrupt, racist cop and foreigners. It tickles me that they really think they're gonna just take our guns without a fight. And I'm talking about a physical one, because that's what it's coming to. And everybody's talking that. Now they're talking about now putting that crap in food and stuff. People are tired of waiting. They're like, oh, so this is what they want. They want to come out and test their weapons. They want to come out you know, and bring their little ships and fly around. I mean, I'm listening to people talk, and they are literally like, you know, they might as well start dropping bombs because you know what, we can start getting to the cracking. The problem ergo is you have sociopaths in the police force who are going to lose. They're going to run out there thinking a little war over there in Iraq and everything, and being on some TRT and everything, they're going to be able to stop. And this is what Rockefeller and them want. I keep telling them, stop talking like that. There's ways to do it, but you've got to be front and center. And a lot of y'all are so busy drinking beers on the weekend and partying with whatever girl. And then on the weekdays, you talk. Yeah, you go to the range, you shoot this, that, and the other. But and there's other people. There's certain groups of people that, you know, can't even talk about that. But the ones that are really, you know, with the mouth gapping, they'll fight. But the thing is, you have a lot of UN soldiers and families on this soil. A lot of y'all see them all the time, and you don't even recognize them. Why don't you recognize them? Because you're too comfortable in your ignorance. And that's a fact. I would like for some of y'all tell me, no, it's not. I'm aware. Tell me you're aware, and then tell me how you're aware. It's like the trans. It's like the trans talking about, but I identify as a woman, but you're not. But I feel like one, but you're not. I don't care about how you feel, group, your little wokeness, your little mental whatever confliction going on. You will never be a woman. A woman is gracious, beautiful, and so loving. As messed up as they are, but there's a system that created that problem so that they can have this outcome, this confusion, this confliction. You know, in 1975, melanated men, men were in our community and our families more than anybody else's. What happened? Heroin came back on the scene. How come it didn't affect us in the 1920s, 40s during the brothels and the the opium, you know? How come it didn't affect us? Because we were more solid. We ran our communities. All the cleaners you see with these foreigners, we ran those. AT&T Bell, we was teaching all these newbies coming from Dutchland and England, teaching them how to operate these phone lines. Then we were out. Thank you to Bell, an old Edison's firm, you know, JP Morgan. Why is it that people don't know this? Why is it that we have a hard time just turning around and going back and going, wait a minute, you know, I can't do this no more. I need to be back in the saddle again. What is so hard? And I know y'all all have excuses, and I know you're afraid to say what's so hard about it. I don't get the fear. I've been talking with y'all long enough to remove the fear. I don't get it. I really, really don't get your fear. I empathize in the court of knowing, but I don't get it. Regardless, they're here. All right? They're here. It doesn't matter. When I told people about Denver, Colorado, and the airport, that people were attempting to go somewhere at one time, and the UN had all of a sudden you had these Africans, Nigerians, and all these people standing there. Sorry, you can't go. When people went crazy, and the UN got quick up out of there. This is because this fake fictional government is not being honest about the fact that when they murdered Abe Lincoln, martial law was established, but not for us because we were still in control. We established martial law. These people are holding seats for politics, and we established martial law, and these people don't even know that they're under martial law because we had betrayers. That's why I would say every time you look at Oprah, you look at Jesse, you look at any one of them, Sharpton, any one of them, the weirdo y'all told me the name yesterday. I'm trying to remember his name with the glasses. That goofy. And a plethora of other ones. People got so stuck in religion that they lost their personality, their truth. I want somebody to prove me wrong. Tell me, say, Red, you're wrong, man. This is what it is, bro. I want you to tell me, and then I want you to break it down. I'm not doing all the break it downs. I just want everybody to say, yo, Red, this is where you're wrong at, brother. This is all y'all coming up in here, man. Give me some likes, man. What's wrong with y'all? Come in here and hit the like button. Why I gotta ask? Why is that out of sick of nature? I know you're liking shit, booty shaking and this, that, and the other, and women walking around with scanty clothes on and everything else. I know that some of you are mentally incapable. I know that. But this, come on, so we can get the message, we can get it out there. Did you jump up in the window? Come on. Come on. Come on. No, right here, right here. You're gonna do the jump. You're gonna try? I watch cats do that all the time, and they come on. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Because you're gonna try and jump, you know them back legs don't work like that. You know that. Go up, you gonna open the window? No, man, I clean that off. No, later. I got to make my shake. You like that shake, don't you? Don't smoke my blunt. I mean, smell my blunt. My little big brother, Alexander. There's no Hannibal to betray him. Anyway, and that was all Tartarian. Are y'all aware that Hannibal, all that stuff? The movies they painted was a lie. They were great warriors who could harness energy, lightning, all that stuff. Trust me. But you know, if I'm wrong, tell me, man. Y'all can greet and all that. That's wonderful. I love it. Tell me I'm wrong, man. California has a stand. It's still in effect. So who is this Governor Newsom? Take a real good look at him. Somebody put his chart up showing how he's related to Hillary. Just take a look. This is a sickness that's plaguing our land, and we do not have to be sick with them, nor a further sickness to our soil. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to be a sickness to the soil. I know I'm asking of a lot, man. But I mean, think about what's been asked. People asking for reparations. Okay, you get $200,000. By the time food stamp and welfare, welfare and child support, and everybody take their little dividends and that rent they've been paying for you might have $5,000. Man, get out of here. These people owe y'all, all the autochthonous people, trillions, if not millions, if not trillions. And that's real. And the small hat Zionists have taken and plundered our gold and silver, and they've been using it for weapons. Well, none of y'all have been getting together, no garage, nobody welding and drawing graphs and charts. They even run around in your little funk, thinking you're something special. I hear standing up on a Cadillac with dump wheels, listen to a goofy melanated brother, man, with gold on, talking about, yeah, if it ain't too low, we can go. I got my chili Philly hoe and blah, blah, all that goofy stuff. And these gang members talking about all this other goofiness. But ain't nobody been together saying, hey, yo, check out what I built. We ain't talking about this on them nets. Don't be researching stuff. We go to the library, pick up a couple of books and scatter it around, and let's get this happening. None of y'all done that. Any of y'all done that? How many of y'all know how to make certain, like, sugar-based rocket? I used to build all that stuff. I mean, I still like to. C motor, D motor, cardboard, PVC pipe, just going out to a place where you can go across and fly RC planes and shoot rockets off. They're chipping away to take away every one of your gun rights. And the funny thing about it is none of you will write your governors or nothing, because you think, oh, somebody else is going to do it. The same thing happened in Germany. Now, we know the story's told in reverse, but the reality is the gypsies, first they brought in fascism. They took away people's guns, their long rifles. We fought wars. We're talking about World War II now, okay? Then they came along and they says, no, you can't work here no more. You have this amount of time to get out. And what do people do? They sit there and, oh, it'll pass. And they rounded them up. Nobody could fight back. Is that what you're waiting on? Is that what you're waiting on? You don't want to go to your town hall meetings? I know a lot of y'all listen to the idiots talking about we black folks don't do that, but we're gonna get together and we're gonna paint some posters and we're gonna go out there, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd Matter, Rodney King Matter. Because y'all still following a bunch of idiots. I still got people coming to me talking about Morris crap. They so dumb. They are, and that's the issue. Too many of our people are so dumb. I don't know if you're really about your religion. Cool, I'm with it. Religion, it's not our forte. It's not of this land. And if you want to claim or took a DNA, look at that Jamaican woman. I just did a. Oh, I'm gonna load that one. This young lady. Talking about from Africa, trying to lump us all. See, this is what I'm talking about when you come to. I'm grateful. I know many Jamaicans who know that they're from here, that they know this is where we all been. We ain't come from Africa. But why do we still have these idiots opening their mouth as if they know what they're talking about? And then the first thing these dumbasses do, just like when we showed them how to dress color coordinate back in the 70s, 80s, because they was wearing some retarded colors. And it wasn't that green, yellow, and red. All right? I'm serious. It's like, yo, man, you ain't going to make it up here looking like that, man. They're going to rob you every time you move around. And that's a fact. And now they got open little mouths, little dummies, opening their mouth, talking about like they know who we is. I show you my Jamaican and Haitian mothers, shut the fuck up. Only time I'm a curse. Shut the fuck up. Don't nobody want to hear that nonsense no more. That is dead. That means y'all still don't know nothing. And the ones that do, you better go talk to them. Instead of sitting there going to your dang fake church and whatever else you, hell, Celeste, he from Ethiopia. He ran when Italy attacked. Punk ass mother. I don't want to hear no more of your foolishness. Sound like a bunch of idiots. Oh, we know Ethiopians came over here. We know all people coming from everywhere. But some of them were coming back and they forgot who they were. Nobody wants to hear that mess. We don't. Come tell that to our faces and watch what happens. Come talk to us who our ancestors have been fighting nonstop and get caught up in that fight. Come say it to me. Jamaican brother over here, he know better. He big older. He be like, he married to a Navajo woman. He like, no, man, I know. I know we always all lands. In front of the pale skin. Yeah, you damn right. I said, now I can prove it, but I don't feel like wasting my time. Because to me, class is out of session. School is out of session. Ah, man, I'm done. Look. And I'm not even going to go to what you call down there to see who's looking. I don't care. I can see that later on. It just showed me how just worthless and some of the people right here, people I know, because they subscribe, and people who I've conversed with, sitting up here watching. You ever see somebody do a whole lot of talking and then ain't even respectful enough, and it's mostly women, to even talk to the people in the chat? Are they selective? That's pathetic. Cowardly and pathetic. And if one of you was to say that's how I feel, then that shows you don't need to be teaching anything. Because now if your feelings are getting in the way and blocking what can elevate, it shows you worthless. I don't care how you look, how you think you are, how you smell. I don't give a damn. If you're not making contact and connecting with the people, you're just another worthless ass sister. You need to go on about your business. Because see, we're done. We're done with all that. And if you're a nigga and you stuck in your religion, we done with you too. Now, especially because the majority of you, 99.99% of you ain't living it. Challenge one of us who really serious about ancestral soil. Challenge one of us. Come with it. Come and challenge it. Come and find out for real. Let me go ahead and read it before I actually get in my feelings. It's about control. I've had enough. Let's go ahead and get this. Reptilians in the history of humankind. The Anunnaki. It's not even really how it's pronounced, but we're gonna say Anunnaki. When I learned how to actually pronounce that word, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like I'm supposed to be one of them people over here going, no." That's one hard-ass language to even study. Anyway, by Henry Crane. Like I said, I've got plenty of these books, man. I got some stuff when I pull it out. You're gonna be like, "Who's that?" Well, I didn't want to mention it. It was words came up a couple of times, but now we're going to get into the conversation about these things, individuals, or whatever they are. Maybe just fantasy, maybe just a myth, maybe just legend. But you know what they say about myth and legends, right? All our teachings, right? All our who we are became myth and legends for these small hat Zionists to play a game, as if some of us didn't know. When we last left off, we were at the replace the gray ones with these new slaves. So Enki had realized that there was a primitive being which denoted and gave signs of primitive intelligence. He was the one who had the idea of genetically modifying that primitive being. I'm just reiterating where we left off at. All of this was done to be able to replace the gray ones with these new slaves. Meanwhile, the intraterrestrials, isn't that intra means, right? Had not realized that these beings from Orion had already arrived on our planet. It was not until much later that they realized, I should just say arrived in our dome. Yeah, it actually makes more sense. It was not until much later that they realized that there was already a race that had begun to manipulate Homo erectus genetically. Until we know Homo sapien, Homo erectus was created when, by who, and but you got to remember who wrote the book. Okay, so let's run with it. I have to remind you guys of that. I need you to always remember when you hear certain key words, you must apply it to yourself that you know that, oh man, so-and-so created that in 16, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Or 1700, when they was trying to prove the world was round, when there's no real proof. There's no proof that the earth is round, people. None. Want me to read Flatlanders and 2 other books? Again? Hell, I got about 7 books to go with Flatlanders now. The earth is not round. Anyway, that's not even an argument. Anyway, now Homo erectus genetically, until these new visitors started doing these experiments and creating technology on the surface of the earth, therefore, their intraterrestrial beings decided to appear before this caravan and realized that these Orion beings were very few. In an interview with Anu, do we have Anu Thunder? It's cool, brother. I don't know if he comes over here. He might have subscribed. A lot of people have that Anu Supreme and all that. They don't even know what Anu actually means. They came to an agreement that the visiting reptilians would not intervene in the depths of the Abzu, where you get the word absolute, that they would not extract the natural resources from the interior of the earth, while the extraterrestrials would allow them to finish the portal so they can communicate to their planet and be able to return to it. But this was a deal with which Anu cheated to the intraterrestrial beings. Anu felt afraid because in reality, he was outnumbered. In addition, they did not have many weapons to fight against the intraterrestrials. But being both reptilian races, they decided to share their knowledge and technology. This is how they began to build their settlements much faster. In this same period of time, the Galactic Confederation detected the mothership on the surface of the Earth. Then they decided to send a group of Carians, and see what kind of plans these reptilian beings had. Upon arriving on Earth, the Carians realized that the intraterrestrials, their creation, were already collaborating with this race from Orion. So they decided to meet with Anu to know the plans of his race. So Anu once more resorted to lie, indicating that he was going to build a portal to be able to communicate with his planet and return to it once the war was over. My apologies. Oh, wow. I wonder if I should hold on for this. But anyway. And you know what the war we was talking about, right? That's why they came back over here. Now, you remember in Oscafandom, all the wars that were going on, and not all, but a lot of the other land masses, right? Greys, the humans fighting. The fact that she even mentioned Admiral Byrd was still alive. He could live a little longer where he was at. Part of war strategy where many of the soldiers thought to have been dead or perished, or many here who supposedly are emptying caskets. Some families went to have exhumed, and it took forever for the next generation to exhume the bodies, and there was no bodies in these caskets. It's documented. Now these people from that period after World War II, especially paperclip jump, high what you call high jump and paper, all like paperclip high jump, all that crap they had, fish, the whole what you call bowl and all that crap. A lot of soldiers just went missing. Always died in a mission, and this, that, and the other. A lot of them. Anyway, Anu knew that in reality, the Galactic Confederation did not have enough resources to take care of them on planet Earth. On Earth, I hate saying planet. It's detestable. Because they were investing them in the war. The Carians also knew it. So they decided to stay and watch over these visiting reptilians. After several attempts and failures of Inky at creating monsters and beings without enough intelligence to do the task that his race needed, and that the gray ones had refused so much to do, he was about to abandon the project because he could not find the exit from his labyrinth that he had engineered himself. Because of that, the Carians decided to help Inky by transmitting their knowledge and technology on how they had managed to evolve the dinosaurs quickly. It was the Carians who gave the clue to Inky to accelerate the evolution of the hominids. Does that make you think of Tartaria? And the fact that we had these incubators and these clone centers that were quickly destroyed during and after the World's Fair? There's pictures that show these things. Raise a baby 1 year in a week, and then put them out in the field to get them to work and groom them and teach them new language and teach them new identity. You're from over here, this place we're going to call it Ohio. We're going to call this place Chicago. We're going to call, you know what I'm saying? Old Egypt, ancient Egypt, we're going to call Memphis and Tennessee. Are you starting to get it? The living womb to which we walked out of in Texas, they made it a resort and closed it off because the military has been going in there and doing what they do. And the funny thing is about the blood tests, we're the only ones that ID with the flesh pit. That's the next term they use. I mean, look into it. I mean, I might be wrong, right? Let me have an apricot. Excuse me. I'm stuck, but I gotta have this. Oh, that's delicious. A little tired. I should have my light up. I don't like those little funky lights that everybody uses. Everybody runs and buy them. I'm gonna be in. They put the little circle light up and everything, and I'm like, if you don't get that, and they put powder on their faces and all that, gimmicky. George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America. Excuse my language earlier, though. You're getting a little too passionate. I guess I care too much. You know, an idiot would tell you, caring too much can get you killed. See, that's an idiot. Not caring enough can get you dead. And the other idiot said, ain't killing dead the same? Boy, if you don't get away from me. Anyway, here we go. George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America, an Alabama classic. All right. Oh, yeah. In pursuing the foregone descriptions, the reader may almost ask himself if his perceptive, powers are not betraying him. Whether he is reading of an Athenian display of sculpture or really of an ancient edifice on the Western continent. Well, might it have... Hold on, read that again. Y'all hear that? Whether he is reading of an Athenian display of sculpture, or really of an ancient edifice on the Western continent. Well, might it have appeared to the bewildered traveler as a work of enchantment? Wow. He then proceeds to describe another building of the same character and sculpture, an edifice supposed to have some references to the Vestals, who in Mexico were employed to keep burning the sacred fire. It is thus sketched, sacred fire. And you saw what they did. They used that for the Olympics, right? Sacred fires burnt in every continent when we were established. Sacred fires. It is situated on an artificial elevation about 15 feet high. Its form is quadrangular, and one side, according to my measurements, is 95 paces in length. It was not possible to pace all around it, from the masses of fallen stones which encumbered it in some places, but made it hard to reach. But it may be safely stated that at 250 feet square, in brackets it says, for example, 1,000 feet in the entire measurement end. It is built entirely of cut stone, like the other buildings. And the whole exterior is filled with the same rich, elaborate, and incomprehensible, and they didn't understand it, sculptured ornaments. The principal entrance is by a large doorway into a beautiful patio or courtyard, grass grown, but clear of trees, and the whole of the inner facade is ornamented more richly and elaborately than the outside, and in a more perfect state of preservation. Do you think that if we still were in those places that they would have been destroyed or defaced or hidden? They have statues down in so-called Mexico and Colombia, Bogota, all them places, Peru, with people in weird positions, big long slung statues carved with afros. Thousands of them. Just like in so-called Greece. When I was there, I was like, they got afros on them. What? And the bro standing there smiling. Yeah, man. Half coke up out of his brain. I'm like, you can't make this up. How come people don't see this? Oh, they do see it. But it's coming back to the old world, where ignorance reigns supreme, it seems. Anyway. This may be accounted for from the apparent fact that the interior sculpture was executed after that on the outward wall, for it appears to be far more beautiful and elaborate. and thence more time would be required for its completion. It's inside, of course it's going to be more elaborate. He's dumb. Anyway, and as a consequence, it could only be finished at a later date. Added to this, that's speculation. Added to this, a greater protection from the weather is given to the inside of quadrangular walls than on the outside, and that without any references to roofs or coverings. For a strong wind striking, for instance, an easterly wall on the outside, the force of the wind is destroyed, and consequently reaches the opposite wall in the area with a greatly diminished power. The same argument would apply to the wind from any quarter, blowing upon unroofed quadrangular structure, and these builders seem to have completely understood by making the sculpture more refined and delicate upon the inside. It was that powerful. Tornadoes take them out and take these down. But now you see the tornadoes in Nebraska, how all these tornadoes is lifting up all these little straw houses. On one side, the combination of the sculpture was in the form of diamonds, simply chaste and tasteful. And at the head of the courtyard, two gigantic serpents, with their heads broken and fallen, as read earlier, were winding from opposite directions along the whole facade. Remember that we read that back about 3 or 4 chapters last week? 1,000 feet, all right, for those who want to know again. It will be remembered that the chief altar at Kopan was sculptured on it 2 serpents. In the analogies, we shall endeavor to read these woolly hieroglyphs. Woolly hieroglyphs, what they can't stop. And we'll read this part and we'll carry on. In front and on a line with the door of the preceding edifice, in another building on a lower foundation of the same general character called Casa de Tortugas, from the sculptured turtles over the... Why did I say that like that? Anyway, yeah, turtles over the doorway. That the reader may not be misled, these turtles are not as defined in Scripture, young doves, but the tortoise, that's okay, the well-known shellfish, and in the splendid illustrations of these ruins in Waldeck's work, the folio of 1838, the tortoise is distinctly given, and without doubt is so meant by Mr. Stephens. These are 4 of them in a group, their heads approaching to a center. Each tortoise is in a square, and in the 2 external angles of each square is an egg. The tortoise and the egg are both national emblems, and the nation claiming them will be proved in the analogies. In the front was a broad avenue with a line of ruins on each side, leading beyond the wall. Of course, you know what it says about the tortoise, how important it is. 4 with 4 eggs, 4 nations, 4 winds, 4 corners. Don't have to believe it, I don't care. Leading beyond the wall to a great mound of ruins, and beyond this a lofty building in the rear. Between the 2 was a large patio or courtyard with corridors on each side, and the ground of the courtyard sounded hollow. In one place the surface was broken, and I descended into a large excavation cemented, which probably had been intended as a granary, rather as a water reservoir, maybe. At the back of the courtyard, on a high broken terrace, which it was difficult to climb, was another edifice, more ruined than the others, but which, from the style of its remains and its commanding position, overlooking every other building, except the first described. And apparently having been connected with a distant mass of ruins in front, must have been one of the most important in the city, perhaps the principal temple. The whole presented a scene of barbaric, magnificent, utterly confounding all previous notions in regard to the aboriginal inhabitants of this country, and calling up emotions which had not been wakened to the same extent by anything we had yet seen. and then we'll go into the next part. Let me mark this. And in the next part is going to be talking about the fact that they don't see water and never been seen. But it doesn't mean that it didn't exist. Because you remember, all the abysses and waters, especially in plateaus and mountains, it's right underneath. But you know, when you're new to a place, though the history is there and you're there to collect it and rewrite history, you gotta go about it a certain way. And even though he's being honest about a lot of things, man, I know I don't have no allergy to this pollen, man. Just want to make sure. Okay. No. No. I like that part. Anyway, I'm going to mark it on this side because I can't see it on the inside. I hate putting marks in books, man, but unless I want to highlight everything, I'm not at the point to highlight this book yet. Even though I've had it for a minute. Just not with it. Yeah, it's going to go pretty ham, and you're going to love what comes out of it. It's pretty freaking awesome. Okay, here we go with our old boy Arthur Kessler, the 13th tribe. The startling new discovery about the true ancestry of the Ashkenazi people, it will cause a stir. John Barkham's reviews. A little light would be nice, right? I don't care. I really don't. Okay, excuse me. Chapter 10. Now, you remember when we last left off. We were talking about... I guess they were attempting to prove that the Khazars are still, you know, and I pretty much cleared it up. Of course, they were blending in with everybody as they were going around killing off the Aboriginal indigenous people, because you remember the people that were chasing them were not a bunch of pale skins people. I was wondering if any of y'all were thinking about that for a moment. Okay, and by accepting this ideology and mixing and then murdering. Remember the coup d'etat we read in the very beginning of the book? Of the actual Hebraic people there? Where it all started? And then the hunt and the wars. And so they came here and they did the same crap. Well, unlike everybody else, we're more aware of them today. Kind of late. It is what it is. And we're talking about the Cuman prince Kobiak, who called Isaac and Daniel. Where the historians' resources give out legend and folklore provide useful hints. The primary Russian chronicle was compiled by monks. It is saturated with religious thought and long biblical excursions. But parallel with the ecclesiastical writings on which it is based, the Kiev period also produced a secular literature. The so-called Bylina, heroic epics of folk songs, mostly concerned with the deeds of great warriors and semi-legendary princesses. The Lay of Igor's House, already mentioned about that leader's defeat by the Cumans, is the best known among them. The Bylina were transmitted by oral tradition and, according to Vernadsky, were still chanted by peasants in remote villages of northern Russia in the beginning of the 20th century. In striking contrast to the Russian chronicle, these epics do not mention by name the Khazars or their country. Instead, they speak of the country of the Jews, Zemlya Zhidvatskaya, and of its inhabitants as Jewish heroes. Jadovin Bulgaria, well, you know these are Ashkenazis who ruled the steppes. And I told y'all to look into the steppes, and I know you haven't. And fought the armies of the Russian princes One such hero, the epics tell us, was a giant Jew who came from the Zemla Zhidovskaya to the steppes of Zetsar on the Mount Soroshin, and only the bravery of Vladimir's general, Ilya Muromets, and saved Vladimir's army from the Jews. There are several versions, all the Ashkenazis, there are several versions of this tale, and the search for the whereabouts of Zetsar and Mount Soroshin provided historians with another lively game. But, as Pollack has pointed out, the point to retain is that in the eyes of the Russian people, the neighboring Khazaria in its final period was simply the Jewish state. So everybody growing up would think these frauds, but they knew the truth. And its army was an army of Jews. The popular Russian view differs considerably from the tendency among Arab chroniclers to emphasize the importance of the Muslim mercenaries of the Khazar forces and the number of mosques in Itil. In parentheses it states, forgetting to count the synagogues. And the legends which circulated among Western Jews in the Middle Ages provide a curious parallel to the Russian. They say Western Jews, but we are the East and we know this. Anyway, Middle Ages provide a curious parallel to the Russian millennia. To quote Pollack again, the popular Jewish Khazarian legend, Ashkenazi legend, does not remember a Khazar, an Ashkenazi kingdom, but a kingdom of the Red Jews. And Barron comments, the Jews of other lands were flattered by the existence of an independent Jewish state. Popular imagination found here a particularly fertile field, just as the biblically minded Slavonic epics speak of Jews rather than Khazars. So did Western Jews long after spin romantic tales around those red Jews, so styled perhaps because of the slight Mongolian pigmentation of many Khazars. Another bit of semi-legendary, semi-historical folklore connected with the Khazars survived in the modern times and so fascinated Benjamin Disraeli that he used it as a material for a historical romance, The Wondrous Tale of Alfroy. In the 12th century, there arose in Khazaria a Messianic movement, a rudimentary attempt at a Jewish crusade aimed at the conquest of Palestine by force of arms. See, Palestine never was no place for these big-ass Jews. The initiator of the movement was a Khazar Jew, one Solomon Denduji, or Ruhi or Roy, aided by his son Menahem and a Palestinian scribe. They wrote letters to all the Jews near and far, and in all the lands around them. They said that the time had come in which God would gather Israel, his people from all lands, to Jerusalem, the holy city, and that Solomon ben Duji was Elijah, and his son the Messiah. Did you hear that blasphemy, that lie from these bastards? I told you. They make war under the false pretense of a God that doesn't belong to them, because there's no God in self of them. They're just warlike. Have you been paying attention from the beginning to this point? If not, and you haven't been here, go back and listen to the reading. It does me a favor, and listen to it to the end. I'd appreciate it. These appeals were apparently addressed to the Ashkenazi communities in the Middle East and seemed to have little effect. Now we're talking about still some of the original that was still spread to the four corners as we, okay? They had probably not conquered yet. That's why they looked at them and paid them no mind. What the fuck are these people? While they were creating their own ideologies, to which you see today. Well, for the next episode takes place only about 20 years later, when young Menahem assumed the name David al-Roy, and the title of Messiah. Though the movement originated in Khazaria, its center soon shifted to Kurdistan. Here, David assembled a substantial armed force, possibly of local Jews, reinforced by Khazars, and what I said about the Abkhazarians, and succeeded in taking possession of the strategic fortress of Amadis, northeast of Mosul. From here, he may have hoped to lead his army to Edessa and fight his way through Syria into the Holy Land. The whole enterprise may have been a little less quixotic than it seems now, in view of the constant feuds between the various Muslim armies and the gradual disintegration of the Crusader strongholds. Besides, some local Muslim commanders might have welcomed the prospect of a Jewish Ashkenaz crusade against the Christian Crusaders. Among the Jews of the Middle East, David certainly aroused fervent messianic hopes. One of his messengers came to Baghdad, and probably with excessive zeal, instructed its Jewish citizens to assemble on a certain night on their flat roofs, whence they would be flown on clouds to the Messiah's camp. A goodly number of Jews spent that night on their roofs awaiting the miraculous fight. But the rabbinical hierarchy, which is false, in Baghdad, fearing reprisals by the authorities, took a hostile attitude to the pseudo-Messiah and threatened him with a ban. Not surprisingly, David al-Roy was assassinated, and rightfully so. Apparently in his sleep, allegedly by his own father-in-law, whom some interested party had bribed to do the deed. His memory was venerated, and when Benjamin of Tudela traveled through Persia 20 years after the event, they still spoke lovingly of their leader. But the cult did not stop there. According to one theory, the six-pointed shield of David, which adorns the modern Israeli flag, started to become a national symbol with David al-Roy's crusade. Ever since writers Baron, it has been suggested the six-cornered shield of David, therefore mainly a decorative motif or a magical emblem, began its career towards becoming the chief national religious symbol of Judaism. It never was. Are y'all starting to get that? So every time I see these little goofy niggas, standing in these corners with that little star and stuff, it represents a star for it. And I'm looking at them going, these freaking idiots that were once on our shields and everything else, but not as what is perceived. That's some made up BS. They don't even speak our ancestral or ancient language. The language is known, it's at the Vatican. 50 miles of our world information and history. 50 miles of our history. You remember the Pope? How was my Indians? His Indians. Because he's an Ashkenaz. I don't care if he's Spanish, this, that, and other. John F. Kennedy was an Irish and he was a Jew. And he was an Ashkenazi. Nixon, the friggin' Ashkenazi. Henry Kissinger, we already know he was. All these sons of bitches are Ashkenazis with assumed different identities. Whether groomed from birth, or part of it. You see what I'm saying? So it's all made up. And anyway, listen to this. Therefore, mainly a decorative motif or a magical emblem began his career toward becoming the chief national religious symbol of Judaism, which it is not. Long used interchangeably with the pentagram or the Seal of Solomon. The pentagram or the Seal of Solomon. It was attributed to David in mystic and ethical German writings from the 13th century on, and appeared to be the Jewish flag in Prague in 1527. Baron appends a qualifying note to this passage, pointing out that the connection between Al-Roy and the six-pointed star still awaits further elucidation and proof. However that may be, we can certainly agree with Baron's dictum, which concludes his chapter of Khazaria. So every time I see somebody walking with that, I'll be wanting to punch them in their mouth. That advocating violence. I'm just saying what I be feeling. Hold on. Hey! Wowzer. Yeah, man. I was standing in the trees with all them things falling from the leaves and all that, and it was just yellow all around me. I'm surprised you don't get see nothing yellow on me. And I was just breathing it in. I guess it tickled my funny bone. What was that? Somebody popped. Oh, damn, you got a big boy thing. For thousands of years, the empty spreading steppe, stretching from Hungary to Mongolia, was the home of nomadic people speaking of Iranic, Turkic, and Mongolian language who drove their herds. Across the vast plains in search of fresh pastures, they found a great... Remember I told you that the original Mongols were niggas? Genghis Khan was a nigga. These people now, they're a mixture of Gog, Magog, Kadar, Khazars, Ashkenaz and all that. I'm serious. You'll see when we get further in reading, started conquering all these lands and murdering and raping the women and taking the babies and teaching them and making them. Listen, they have little practice when they came here. I'm telling you something. But they already knew about us. They knew about everything. They had to have a front war. Our people were at peace. Anybody that came, we shut them down so quick. Look at us now like little bitches. What was that, hun? Yeah, but you reading it right? Across the vast plains in search of fresh pastures, they found the great empires, which time and the steppe grasses would soon swallow up, leaving barely a trace. That's right, their constant eruptions into Europe sounded the death knell in turn of other settled civilizations, part of the endless cycle of growth, invasion, and collapse that has snapped the continent. Thank you for looking it up. Thank you. See, this is what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you ain't look up nothing. You just listening and you don't want to do the work. I'm here attempting to show you something. Still in denial. Gesundheit. Thank you. Hey, Alicia. Snoo, Equator 7. Scott was cracking. I figured I might as well stop. Michael Weston, what's going on? Herbo, Equator 7. I'm going backwards. Rondo, for Harden. I got my brother Ganja here. Y'all be careful. All right? Producer Slade. All right. It's number of love, y'all. Boy Benji, I saw you down there. West Side. What's going on, beloved? Oh, what was that? What percentage you? Oh, yeah, already responded to that. Stand your ground in Florida too. Yeah, but no. California has gun law. They can't have own guns unless you're part of a gun club. Listen to what I'm saying. With Newsom and everything he's doing in California, we ain't talking about Florida, honey. Niggas down there got guns. My son, my daughter, all of them got guns. They don't in California. But the law is still stand your ground. NFA, which was created to remove guns from us because of the FBI, because it got the faggot and LBJ. That's what I'm supposed to be. Focus. I'm serious when it comes to this class stuff. All right? Focus. And if you're going to do all that and they still have stand your ground, what does it mean? What does it mean? Stand there and square off? People always been getting killed with hands and feet. More so than guns. So it's stupid. Newsom, I said, look at him. Look at who you think he is. What is he doing? He's part of the agenda. If you want to invade the police, you want to make sure everybody's unarmed. You want to make sure that all the soldiers, special forces or not, are jabbed up. All right? Think. It's important. Okay? JBJR, what's cracking? What's going on? It's good to have you all up in here. Yeah. Well, all the crooks, all the criminals have guns. Isn't it boggle your mind that they're trying to take guns from people who are actually decent because of the agenda and nobody's speaking of it? Gesundheit. I appreciate it, I do. All right, let's go ahead and get into Behold the Pale Horse. Oh, good gracious. I'm feeling a little better now. I'm sitting there going, man, am I still stuffed? What the heck is going on? I think there's supposed to be enough. I didn't receive the other book. I went to the post mailbox to see if the other books came in, and they didn't. You know, they're being real nosy in my tablet ever since that last update, because that's the start from the beginning. Because I've got 1,000 tabs. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Hold on. Hold on. I can't let it. If it goes, it might go to. I can't let, you know. No, it's not going to happen. I want to hear that. It's going to be exactly about. We don't want to go ahead and do that. Let's go. Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, it's calming music. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into some of the. I don't want to lose that. Let's go ahead and get into some of this. My brother. Am I starting to be retarded or something? Trust me, there's not a lot. Oh, there it is, right there, right in front of my face. I'm still old-fashioned. These right here, 15 years old. I think I've only had 2 out of the whole thing. Let me see how they look. I haven't looked at this thing so long. 15 years old. Altoids, you can't beat these. And total sugars is only 1 gram. Yeah. My favorite. Okay, remember, Behold the Pale Horse, William C. Cooper. Namaste. I know I was going to say it, but you know what? It's calming to most people. And I'm not going to get into all the etymology and all that of the word. So it's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah, we say Gesundheit. And then, you know, like my uncles would say, they would say Danke. A Danke Shaw, a Danke. You know what I mean? But I'm not here to talk German. I speak it pretty well, too. Anyway, HR 4079 and FEMA, Chapter 6, remember? A lot of people over here say, oh, man, he probably is part of... Oh, man. Oh, I can't stand stupid people. Oh, yeah, mama mia. But you know how it is. Anyway, HR 4079 and FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, a tool that can be used to establish the police state. Patriots and tax protesters, you must never be found at home on any holiday. Your life depends on how well you can obey that rule. Again, patriots and tax protesters. And this was how he felt, which is not really that much of a lie. So we know that the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, that's what it's called, FEMA. The following is a transcript of an audio tape with an urgent message. Who remembers down in Louisiana when they had those certain individuals in uniform going around shooting people? Who remembers that? I was in Florida. Man, we went out there, man, to find out what the hell was going on, bro. Man, we had locked and loaded, bro. We had made the trap. We made the trip in silent. And we sure did. We got out there, man. We could smell death everywhere. It was like, what in the hell? The water had pretty much got low, you know, it was still kind of high. And we could see some of these bastards. I call them underground soldiers. As soon as they came, they sure disappeared when we started showing up walking them streets with our rifles. And BDUs. So if any of y'all seen some of us, you know what we're talking about. Anyway, the following is a transcript of an audio tape with an urgent message to the people from William Cooper on the subject of HR 4079. We must stop the traitors now. William Cooper dictated this information to me by phone early in 1990, and I tape recorded the information as he gave it. I made many tapes and sent them out exactly as Mr. Cooper had asked me to do. And those recipients have done the same. My name is Richard Murray. Y'all need to look up Richard Murray. I think I saw a couple of YouTube channels or something with, I guess, audio recordings from William Cooper. Anyway, and I believe that William Cooper is the only man in America outside the secret government who truly knows what is happening and what it means to us, the average American citizen. In brackets it says begin tape. Now I'll be reading the audio. There's a guy by the name of Buster Horton. He's a member of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and he's a member of the interdepartmental unit, which is empowered in the event of a national security emergency to become the unelected national government, a sort of FEMA secret government, so to speak. A pretext for invoking those emergency measures can be found almost daily in the newspapers. It can be anything from the suspension of debt payments by the high bureaus of American countries to mass runs on U.S. commercial banks. And that's an issue. By the way, that's being handled personally by the National Security Council and Brent Scowcroft. To food shortages, to the drug war, the whole bit. Anything, any disaster, emergency declared at all, even including the oil spill from the Exxon tanker in Alaska. If the president had declared a national emergency that could have triggered it, any instability in the Middle East, anything in fact, and now you see why we've been going over there making wars with innocent people, regardless of what's going over there. You look at the corruption and shit that's going over here. Just because our uniforms and movies paint up a pretty picture, you've got murders running around in costumes and people who subjugate themselves to it quietly and quaintly. And they've already tested their capabilities in April 1984 with Rex 84A, and that was designed to test the readiness of the U.S. civilian and military agencies to respond to a serious national security crisis. Now, the executive order that will implement this, the Executive Order 11051, who remembers that? Details responsibilities of the Office of Emergency Planning, or FEMA. It gives authorization to put all executive orders into effect in times of national emergency. Now, we already cleared the fact that executive orders should have never been happening. Simple way to chip away at the Constitution. Okay? Anyway. National emergency declared by the president, increase international tension or economical or financial crisis. In parentheses, it states, note that it covers every conceivable domestic crisis, but does not even mention war or nuclear attack. Remember that one gentleman who was reading in the case of, oh my goodness, and he made that statement and all that? Zombie, oh my goodness, and he wouldn't finish reading. He had to redact it as he was reading it. Y'all remember that. Now, the only thing that has to happen for FEMA to be able to implement all the executive orders, emergency executive orders, is for the president to declare a national emergency of any type, as long as it's a national emergency. Executive Order 10995 provides for the takeover of the communications media. Executive Order 10997 provides for the takeover of all electric power, petroleum, gas, fuels, and minerals. Executive Order 10988 provides for the takeover of food resources and farms. Executive Order 10999 provides for the takeover of all modes of transportation, control of highways, seaports, etc. Executive Order 11,000 provides for mobilization of all civilians into work brigades under the government supervision. Executive Order 11,001 provides for government takeover of all health, education, and welfare functions. Executive Order 11,002 designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons. And Executive Order 11,003 provides for the government to take over airports and aircrafts. Executive Order 11,004 provides for the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for populations, 15-minute cities. Oh, excuse me. Executive Order 11,005 provides for the government to take over railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities. Now, all of these were combined under Nixon into one huge executive order, which allows all of this to take place if the president declares a national emergency, and it can be implemented by the head of FEMA, not by the president. The president has already given him the power under these executive orders. All of these were combined into Executive Order 11490. And that was signed by President Carter on July 20th, 1979, and is in fact law. And Carter, with all his fake ass Christianity, is nothing but another puppet. I'm surprised he ain't dead yet. So if H.R. 4079 is passed and the president, I hate that word president, does what it says and declares a national emergency because of the drug situation, whether it's for 1 year, 5 years, 5 minutes, or forever, it doesn't make any difference. FEMA can then can implement all these executive orders, take over all local, state, and national government, suspend the Constitution, and do whatever they want to do. Now, do you know the importance of you motherfuckers being where you at? I'm gonna stop right there. While I keep singing to y'all and y'all keep ignoring it. Anyway, I appreciate taking the time to listen to me rant and read. I want to just read, actually. I'm gonna lock that down. I got to get something in my gullet because it's getting late, almost past my time for my second last meal. All right, and I love y'all. Y'all know I do. I just got to do what I got to do, you know. Anybody else come in? Yeah, Alicia, I got you. Yeah. It's your murder voice. Yeah. Up the jammy. Grade of 7, man. I got you, brother. In Jersey, we say Gesundheit. Yes, we do. We sure do. Yeah. Altoids, them things will kill you if you're under age 10. I'm trying to tell you. Boy, they open you up, though. Hey, Mikey Hill, salute. What's going on, Kenfolk? What's up, my beloveds? Ed Anderson, what's up, mama? Yes, he went out, guns a-blazing. They assassinated him. He didn't really have a choice. He didn't have a chance. They assassinated him. They chased him. You know, if he would have had one up, really paying attention at that moment, he would have been able to respond properly. They gunned him down. You know, go look at the news clipping, and you know the media lies. Black Rock, whatever. But yeah, go down here, whip me up something pretty good. Smoothie, I guess. I don't know. I got some. I don't know. That was pretty heavy, high protein meal today. I don't eat bread no more, y'all. So I might just do my pasta meal. The firefight was a disastrous ending to a standoff that had begun in 1998 when federal authorities charged Cooper with tax evasion and bank fraud, hoping to avoid a violent showdown. Agents deferred. What else? I know you're going to put something else up. I know what happened, but yeah. That's the, yeah. That was it. Well, anyway, y'all can look into it. Y'all can also look into Arthur Kessler, him and his wife. Their so-called suicide, and there was a bio. I don't know if it's still out there. It was a PDF. You was able to read it. I had one. I was using Firefox, and it made a statement about they never used those medications ever in their lives, and all of a sudden they commit suicide on it. Like, y'all don't get it, man. It's y'all don't get it. It's just no way. It's just no way. My beard's looking crazy. But I gotta go down here and get some eats. Y'all know how it is. My beloved sisters, my brothers, you know, I know what time it is. But yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing. Y'all got choices to make, but I'm gonna stop saying that. Y'all already know you do. Oh, okay, there it goes. So look, y'all can check that out. Okay. I gotta go down here and get something in my gullet. It's just the way it is, man. I gotta keep my little my little 19 inches. I got to keep them up to par. You know what I'm saying? My waist is from them 42s. I'm down to 30. What was it? I'm down from 42. I was wearing 42 size waist. My chest was like 56. I was big up here, man. I'm glad I stopped working because it just all 36. My pants waist is 36. I mean, that's because my legs. But my waist is actually around a 30, 34, 35. But you know, I don't get it taken in. And so I get it back down to 32, I'll be happy, you know? Yeah. Just gotta get them damn fry bread. That's why I said it's important. And it's gonna happen pretty quick with me. Yo, y'all should really, I want my brothers to listen to this. I think women can use it. This is $99 a bottle. I've got about 6 bottles. I'm not giving it away. You better fucking get it while you can. That's all I'm gonna say. You better get it while you can. Trust me. Oh, and you better get this, Nashwa. You better get this too while you can. Trust me. I don't take it as prescribed because I'm more up here. But damn it, if it ain't for the physical compromise, man, my only thing is I told them it better be the right thing, and the fake ass feds better not intercede and mess with the original chemicals in this. And they sent me a message. No, it's the real thing, Mr. Branch. I was like, all right, I'm gonna share it with some people. I don't need to know who you are. I don't need to see you. That's for real. You got to build up loyalty, people. You got to build trust before you can really venture off and see some real shit. Some of y'all are very lazy. I would just like for y'all to become unlazy. I got 3 good brothers, man. We need to lock it down, but we're busy. Everybody's got their thing they're doing. One brother was in Kelly. The other one's in Tucson. I got to make my way over there. I used to only go down there for my damn side-by-side because that's a long-ass goddamn ride for me. Excuse my language. The friggin' ride. Oh, my goodness. My apologies. But let me go ahead. I got to get something to eat. I got freaking hell. I'll talk to y'all all night. You know it. You know I will. But hey, love you all. Y'all have a grand day. All right, a grand evening. I might upload some of the videos. We'll see. Someone's got music, so. But y'all, I think y'all like them. All right? No bruiser hand, right? I know. Y'all have a good and wonderful, beautiful evening.